Hi, hello, hey, I'm Renee. Welcome back to another episode of Diary of a Doom Scroller. Huzzah! We've made it to part 3. Yay! This has been a fun series. It's been a really good listen. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time interacting with Dr. Shantae's bar framework. We're finishing up with art and reading. So this is my little zine. At first I thought that my zine was going to basically be like an outline of Dr. Shantae's talking points and what I thought about it. But I didn't want to listen and plan because one thing I've really been honing in on is not only is it about like what do I want to experience? Some of it is about what don't I want to experience, which was a question that Dr. Shantae posed in her experience video. One thing that I am trying my hardest to not force people to experience is the effects of curation. I am a deconstructed Christian, and one of the things that really bothers me that I have learned since no longer being a part of a church, modern day Christian worship is curated, especially with it having like this rock element or like pop element, the expansion to like Christian rap, but we're going to talk specifically about what you are doing in praise and worship, the encouragement of raising your hands, allowing it to be a full body experience. You're standing, you're moving to the beat. It's in usually a dark room, usually as like an amphitheater, which takes basic principles from like classic theater so that every person essentially has equal access to the stage in their own way and isn't cut off by like rows in front of you. You are curating an experience that you then pass off as the Holy Spirit. And that's where it becomes deceptive, right? Did you feel the Holy Spirit or did you feel the beat of the music? It's important that you're able to discern the two. It's not insulting to your ability to be moved by the Spirit. It's testing your discernment of, do you understand the physical world that you live in? Do you know how physics and psychology intertwine? It's very important that we know when is something outside of us moving toward us and when am I moving in response to the physical world that is very rigid and is not going to change on my behalf. I want to offer you an experience. I don't want to curate a product for you to take. So the title of my scene is Girl, You Need to Let Go of the Plan. As I was listening, I just decided, let's get some color involved. Let's just color over it. Let's just do what we're doing. And I just kind of kept decorating until I was ready to turn the page. One of the points that Dr. Shantae pointed out, and a sort of full circle moment from an insight that I made on my last part of reviewing the bar framework, art isn't about knowing a principle. It can be, okay? It can be very technical. It can be very, there's always that physicality to it, right? There's that physical world that it doesn't matter how badly you want oil paint to dry like acrylic. It's not going to, right? So there are fundamentals of art that will always exist, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not. But art does not have to exist only to learn more of the technicalities, more of the physical world. Art can be an opportunity for someone to sit with their inner dialogue without someone asking them questions, without them having to convert it into language that makes sense, without them having to feel their emotions first, which is an experience, and then put it into words, which is at the grace of their linguistic access. Art, sports watching, doing a hobby, whatever it is that you find flow in, working with your hands, being a part of movement, moving your body, doing is an experience. Being able to talk about your experience can only come after the experience has been felt. So you have to do first, and then you have to process it, and then you hopefully have the words that match up with what other people assign their words based off of the actions, experiences that they've had. And you have to hope that it all matches up perfectly. There's your story. Now you've spoken your language. Things that don't require words can be a very powerful escape. So why does my first page set have nothing but words? I'm hyperlexic, bitch. I don't always think in pictures. I mean, I do think in pictures a lot, but I don't always have the ability to make what I see into a shape. I think in very abstract images or colors or textures, or I'll just like think something where it's like I can see it, but it's like so translucent that it's like I can't see it enough to like give it to you on a piece of paper. When I want to come up with something very structured, when I see something so clearly, I don't necessarily think in words, but if I see something so clearly, the rigidness of words, the physicality, the concept of linguistic approach, because I have access to the word, I like being able to make sense of my physical word with physical writing. By the way, did you know that writing was invented as an accounting tool? We are making things out of survival. We are innovating out of our need to constantly move when the cheese house is empty, girl. And so sometimes I need that structure. Even when I'm trying to let loose, I need to let go and I need to get this all out. I need that structure. And then I can start playing and becoming a little bit more abstract and finding that like spark of whimsy within me. And that's where the centerfold comes in, girl. So one of the questions that Dr. Shante asks is, what tables do I want to sit at? So this is my table. First off, we have my plate, which is open with potentiality and reception openness. Just give it to me, honey. I love the saying, I receive humbly, I receive with gratitude, I receive with discernment. I like to call myself a neurotic optimist, and a big part of leaning into that optimism is I don't always I'm not much of a taker. I'm not the most proactive. I really don't like being like, give me that, I want that. I don't like chasing things. I do physically move slow. Living or learning that like life is this capitalistic rat race where like you gotta get there first. It's never resonated with me. It makes me a bad person. I'm not my best person when I'm just trying to take. I just like letting things work out for me. I just like seeing what I have and doing the best with what I can. Not necessarily about, oh, so you just like go at the whim of life. No, my plate is open within the contains of my table. My plate is not open at a table that has what is not for me. So it's not about, oh, I just bloom where I planted. It's about, as the farmer, I recognize even between a potato and a sweet potato, they need different soil, they need different conditions to do what they need to do. So some other values that I am seeking for and conditions that I want to see of my table are, I want to sit at a hydrated table. I want to sit at a plant-based table. I want to sit at a united table, a place where I can call for help, because ultimately I want to sit at a table that is a place where we share our fruits with one another. One thing that I've held on from a mentor in my life is, he said, you have to make money like a capitalist so that you can move it like a socialist. Make money like a capitalist if that's the positioning that you are in, and that's called giving one another the grace of our context, so you can move it like a socialist. That's called holding us accountable to the progression that we would like to see within one another. That's what I'm looking for, girl. Do I sit at tables that don't have these things on it? I sit next to them. There is nothing better than getting sat at the wedding table of your people, but the people next to you, hey girl, oh, how do you know them? Oh, that's so fun. I love sitting next to people. I love sitting next to people. But let me tell you something. We're having a lot of conversation about colorism. There's a lot of conversation about people not being able to let go of the one drop rule, and that we need to stop calling biracial light-skinned people black. Enter in me. I want to respect my black peers. As an autistic person, this is just how I am trying to make sense of it all. I have always grown up, what are you? What are you? What are you? And I always used to tell people, I'm mixed. Well, then I got to college and it was like, you shouldn't call yourself mixed. You should tell people that you are a biracial black woman. And so I started telling people that I'm a biracial black woman. But then I was told, You don't need to tell people that you are biracial, because then you are signaling whiteness first. You're saying, I'm a biracial, I'm a half white black person. So I started telling people I'm a black woman. Because here's the tea, Miss Lee. It's like, if you don't think that I'm black, who do I want to sit across from and have a back and forth conversation with this? And who would I rather sit next to and go, oh, that's so interesting? Anyways, back to my conversation. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like there is space that I'm willing to hold space for both of y'all. Y'all can say what you need to say, and okay. Or, you know, a dark-skinned woman comes up to me and says, I don't like that you keep calling yourself a black woman. I'm gonna say, do you want to sit down at my table and have a discussion about this? Because whether or not you change my mind in the end, let me tell you why I say it. And then you can tell me what you think about my process. No offense, Chad, but like, thanks, Chad. I'm glad that you don't think I'm black. Girl, did you just see fucking what Chad said? Do I talk to people who don't embody all of this? Sure, I don't ignore them. I used to have a really bad problem of I would just straight up ignore you because I thought that I was real slick, and I would just be like in my head, "Oh, just pretend like you can't hear them." But those memories kind of haunt me back now because it's like, "Ooh, ignoring people is mean and it's cruel, and no one wants to be ignored or abandoned, even your worst enemies." I don't want to be that person. I just don't want to be that person because I've been her. I've been mean before, and I just don't want to keep doing it. So, do I talk to people at tables that don't look like this? Yeah, because they're sitting right next to me, and it would be rude to ignore them. So, that was basically the end of the art period. So, the last part of the bar, the last video, the huzzah, the tada, the celebration of the bar framework is reading. I enjoy reading, but I have ADHD, girl, and that means that I read, and then I fucking hate reading. And then I read, and I can't stand reading. I like to scroll through Libby a lot, and I've been working with written crochet patterns more and more and more because have we talked about crochet as an act of resistance? I don't think we have. There are women spies, historical women spies, who were knitting Morse code into their projects. So like, don't tell me that nothing matters, all right? Everyone loves to make fun of basket weaving. Please keep in mind, we are not creatures of leisure the same way that that blue jay sitting on my bird bath, he ain't sitting there for no reason, all right? He either needs to get a drink or he needs to get a bath. Survival. We are evolved animals over time. We do not live a life of leisure. Leisure is that dangling carrot. It's fake. It's an illusion, honey. It ain't real. We create things out of the need to survive. I do have a book that I am looking forward to purchasing in September. I follow Sophie from Cinemaknits, and she's just really cool to watch. She makes a lot of like really cozy vlogs. She came out with a book. She wrote a book. And so the book will be available to the US in September. It does sound like my tea. It's the character I think is like on the verge of an existential breakdown. I'm like, yes. But I think she mentioned that there was some romance. I will admit romance is not my niche. If I am reading for pleasure, I like it to be like a psychological thriller, but I am excited to branch out my horizons. Reading creates an experience. It paints a visual picture for you. The art of storytelling is very important. That's why rap is such an important genre. It's about the visuals, the storytelling, and especially with stories and with reading, it's other people's experiences. You have the opportunity to have your worldview challenged. There's something really powerful in a story being able to, you know, frame it in a way that gives you that person's story without holding up a mirror. But then it allows you to face the mirror later in the day after you've put the book down. And to close out everything, felt like make some more ideas for zines. The ideas this week are make a zine about your favorite color combo, a recent trip, your favorite hobby, some inside jokes that you have with yourself, your friends, your partner, your mom, whoever, mantras that are either getting you through this year or you are fucking throwing out the window, your pets, your reading list, your bucket list, a zine just all about you. And then for my last page, I just decided to pick one of the ideas, which was a mantra that I am enjoying and really trying to take to heart this year, which is you're doing okayer than you think. It's really easy to be hard on yourself. It's really easy to allow the negativity of the world to shape the language that consumes how you think about the experiences that you just had. But I think just playing around with art, just creating something that you can flip back through and go, wow, I made that. That's cool. So that's it. That's the bar framework. We are done. Dr. Shantae wrapped up her video with a show and tell of her paint and sip. She made the cutest little Snoopy. So I wanted to close out with a show and tell of my all and just give you a little quick preview of some of the other zines that I just have laying around. So this is a wordless zine that I have. It's just color swatches. This zine is not done, but I basically have been unpacking thoughts on grief, isolation, and healing. I started this zine after finding Miss Ronnie's channel. One of the fun things about learning the practicalities of art is learning that everything is a basic shape. I just have a zine where I've just been practicing the different shapes. That's it. And then last but not least, this zine is just a folded up piece of paper. There's nothing in it. But when I tell you that I flip through this kind of a lot, almost like a fidget tool, I like the texture of the paper. I like looking at it. I just like being reminded that like nothing is infinite, that anything could be in this. It's just comforting. It's just comforting. If you just need a place to start, find a piece of paper that you like the texture of, you like the feeling of, you like the color of, and just fold it up and cut it up like a zine. If you need a tutorial of how to make a zine, I will leave a short in the description box by Bree, who taught me, so I want to give credit where credit is due. I think this is a good stopping place. If you made it this far, thank you so much, Batty. Please go ahead and leave a cowboy emoji to spread the energy, spread the word. Don't forget to like, subscribe. It helps me out when you do the YouTube things. And we will run up that screen time in the next one.